Behind these walls is where I found freedom. I spent over 2,000 days in prison, learning more about myself in this life than I ever could have thought possible.
Just behind these walls, I spent 17,520 hours changing my life. And when I teamed up with Sean, it was to change 1 billion lives for the better. Join us today and level up and become the architect of your greatest life.
My name is Sean Michael Crane. I'm a co-founder of the Convicted Mindset, the #1 resource in the world for the formerly incarcerated and currently incarcerated individuals. And I want to give you just a little backstory about where I come from, what I went through, and what I'm able to do now, partnering up with Richey to provide service and inspiration for those who know they're made for more in their life, but they're feeling stuck. For the first 10 years of my life, I grew up in a beautiful beach community, Santa Barbara, California, where I had everything I wanted in my life. I had loving family members, I had friends, I was involved in sports, and I really felt like I had everything I needed in my life. It wasn't till around the age of 10 that I started noticing my parents were different than my friends' parents or my aunts and uncles. Come to find out they were battling drug and alcohol addiction. That's when my life started to turn to a more darker, sinister stage of life. And at the age of 14, my dad was arrested and eventually sent to prison. Shortly after that, my mother abandoned us kids. And I was in complete shock. I didn't know how to deal with the emotional impact of that situation. And I went down a really bad path in life. I started abusing drugs and alcohol to try to numb out that pain. I started hanging out with kids who were getting in trouble, skipping class, and I really lost my identity in those years. I didn't play sports in high school. I didn't go to college. I didn't chase my dreams or do anything that I was proud of. So by the time I was, in my early adult years, 21, 22, 23, I was just working a job I didn't love. I had no fulfillment or no real purpose. And I truly felt like I was just destined to be a failure in life. At the age of 23, I was at a party in a really beautiful area of Santa Barbara called the Mesa, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And we were all drinking and socializing, and it was just a normal house party, and I showed up there with a childhood friend who I knew from kindergarten, and we didn't know anyone else. By the end of that night, as we were getting ready to leave, a fight broke out in the front of the house. And I was out there watching the fight, and I got dragged into the melee. I got tackled to the ground. I thought I was getting jumped by a group of the individuals fighting. So I started defending myself, and I ended up throwing punches at an individual who had been stabbed multiple times. I got up off the ground and my shirt was covered in blood, and I fled the scene because I had no idea what was going on. People are screaming, you hear sirens, and you react in those moments. The next day I was arrested and charged with attempted murder for that assault that I did not do. And that experience changed my life forever. At the age of 23, I was locked in a cell just like this, so small I could literally touch both walls at the same time. And for 23 hours a day, I had nothing but time to just think and reflect on my life. And I kept asking myself, how did this happen to me? Why is this happening to me? I couldn't believe it. It seemed surreal. And so throughout the next 8 months, I fought for my life. I pled my case. I told everyone that I was innocent, but no one believed me. And the first day I went to court, the judge, the prosecutor, they wanted to change my charges to homicide. My lawyer didn't care. She wasn't trying to help me. Everyone at the party was telling on me. The cops thought I was guilty, and they were all trying to send me to prison. And as I had all that time to think and reflect on my life, what stood out to me most wasn't this life sentence. It wasn't the fact that I was being charged for a crime I didn't commit. I could potentially spend the rest of my life in prison. I started looking at all the things I didn't do in my life. I started looking back at that young boy who was so emotionally distraught and how I hadn't played sports. I didn't chase my dreams. I wasn't being the person in my heart I wanted to be. And I felt this immense regret for my actions and my choices. And that pain was so severe, it changed something inside of me, and I've never been the same ever since. I literally felt like I died and got a second chance at life. So my mission ever since that moment of seeing how my choices, my actions led to that regret, I knew from that moment forward that it was upon me, it was my choices and the way I was gonna live my life that I had to focus on. I couldn't think about the people at the party telling on me. I couldn't be mad at my lawyer. I couldn't blame other people. I couldn't be mad at my parents. I had to take responsibility for my life. And that's what I started doing in my jail cell every day. I started finding things that I could do to better myself, whether it was push-ups and sit-ups and squats, whether it was reading any books I had my hands on, whether it was working on my spelling and my penmanship, like whatever I could do. I wanted to better myself. I had this desire inside of me to become better every day. So by the time I got sentenced to 7 years in prison, I had to take a plea deal and plead guilty to assault with a deadly weapon, even though I was innocent. I did that because of the changes I was making in my life. I thought that, okay, if I can go to prison and dedicate this next 5.5 to 7 years, depending on how much time I do, to improving my life, I could come home and do amazing things. I looked at it as a small sacrifice of time and actually an opportunity to build that momentum and come home and truly chase my dreams and seek that redemption for the way I lived my life in my younger years. And that's what I did. I went to prison with that mentality. I was focused on bettering myself every day. And I was able to do some pretty awesome things while I was incarcerated that continued to build up my self-esteem and confidence going forward. When I got to prison, I found out they had college courses for inmates. I couldn't believe this. And while I was in jail, I had been, educating myself to the best of my ability. And that gave me the courage to take those college courses. Previously in my life, I didn't educate myself. I didn't go to school. I didn't apply myself in school. So I thought I lacked intelligence. I thought that I just wasn't very smart, but that wasn't true. I just never tried. So making these small incremental changes on my journey showed me that with effort, I could improve myself. And this gave me so much hope and motivation. So in prison, I took college courses and I fell in love with, my studies related to business, psychology, social and behavioral sciences, all these different subjects that helped me to expand my knowledge base. And I felt my memory, my speed of thought, I felt myself changing and improving day to day. And so I continued to build upon those steps forward. I got 4 associate's degrees in that time, and they actually gave me 6 months off my sentence because of that. While I was bettering myself and focused on improving every day, the guys around me noticed that I was very disciplined, that I was focused on self-development, that I was positive, that I was going somewhere in life, that I had a vision. And I think a lot of them wanted that too. Being incarcerated, a lot of people feel hopeless and they don't expect anything good to come out of that experience. But I was thinking differently, therefore my actions showed that. And so that allowed me to connect with these guys that I never would have talked with or hung out with. And we would work out every day. We would talk about what we wanted to do in our lives after prison. A lot of those guys ended up taking college courses as well and making big improvements in themselves during that time. And that's when I understood that this was my purpose, that I was going through this experience not only to better myself and for my redemption, but so that I could come home and impact other people who felt trapped in a mental prison that they couldn't escape, people who are being held back by their fears, their limiting beliefs, their excuses, all the things that I went through when I was younger that led to my regret. I wanted to make sure that other people didn't get to the end of their life and feel that pain, that they could change now and live a life of purpose. And that's what I've been able to do since I've come home. I've been able to coach other men to break through those limiting beliefs and really find that internal freedom so that they can go out and pursue the life that they wanted. Travis, Richey, and I have created a convicted mindset to do just that, to help those individuals who feel stuck in their life right now, to show them there is a new way that they could take, to give them the resources, the tools, and the daily support and accountability to make that shift mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, to create the life 2.0 that they know in their heart they're capable of living. If that's you, if you're somebody who knows in your heart you want more, please reach out to us. Go to convictedmindset.com. Reach out to us, we will connect with you, and we will show you the way.
Welcome to Convicted Mindset. I'm your co-founder and co-host, Travis Richey.
And I'm Michael Crane.
And we're here to make sure that you have the tips and the tricks and the resources necessary to lead the greatest life possible. We realized with our time spent incarcerated that some of the worst prisons in America were not made of concrete and steel, but were rather the limiting beliefs and the self-doubt and the mindset that didn't serve you to be the best human possible.
We want to take all of the strategies and learning lessons that we uncovered in our time of incarceration and bring those resources to people who feel stuck in their life right now. We've developed 4 pillars of self-mastery that cover mental, physical, spiritual, and financial well-being to give you access to that information so that you can apply it to your life. We've created a Convicted Mindset coaching program to literally walk you through those steps and give you 52 weeks of accountability and support so you can break through any limiting beliefs you have or stuck points in your life right now and really start creating that life 2.0 that you've dreamt of.
What we realized that while we were incarcerated was that access to real life-changing skills
was scarce. And so what we want to make sure that we're giving to you are tangible, step-by-step resources that help you physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially to take you from where you are to where you know you deserve to be. Join us today at convictedmindset.com and help us level up the world to change 1 billion lives for the better.